Ugh. How long has it been? Oh. Alright peoples, let's get comfortable. I want to talk about, I think, one of my new favorite games of all time. And that is Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. Even though I don't know if the Definitive Edition actually does make any difference. For the things I want to talk about, I've never played the Wii U original. I never had a Wii U. But I've enjoyed this Switch port, Definitive Edition, immensely, especially now with the Nintendo Switch 2 update, even though there are some positives and negatives about that one. Yes, you're not mistaken. On the screen it tells you, I just beat the game. Like I beat the post-credit chapters that are new to the Definitive Editions after 132 hours and 42 minutes. That never happens to me. I usually play through a game and then I'm done. Like I'm happy when I'm finished because then I can move on to the next thing. Not so much in this one. I did not want it to end. I did absolutely everything I could. Let's turn down the volume a little bit. I did absolutely everything I could do in a sensibly manner. Like all the side missions, all the affinity missions, all the heart events, all of the like standard missions that you can get at the mission control terminal, all of that done, finished, done, all of it. I collected every... Okay, so I did change a little spoilery setting, I would say, even though now it shouldn't be as bad. So as you can see, all of the characters you can have in the game, I unlocked them all, even Mira down here. Damn, Mira is the last character I needed. I looked up online how to get her because I just did every mission possible and I couldn't do anything. You have to talk to an unmarked NPC on the side of the road to get like a piece of information that unlocks another side mission, another set of side missions. Insane. Like, how do they think we are supposed to figure that out? Well, the internet, well, that's how it is. So I got all the characters, I maxed out the affinity to all of them. When you play with them by your side a little bit, you can max out the affinity of all of them, unlock new attacks and stuff like that. Amazing, I did all of that. I grinded, I just grinded for the Ares 90s here, which is the highest level Ares scale that you can get. I may want to return to this game in the future because the only thing missing right now is a lot of these super bosses in the game. I actually beat some super bosses just because I tried them and it just worked. But the only quest I have right now is going up to this mountain and having like this fire golem thing in the volcano and killing that one. It's a fight you have to do with the Skells. And I am painfully under-leveled with my Skell. I did not put a lot of energy and time into maxing that out. I spent more time getting my physical on-foot character all done. Because you can fight and fly around in the Skell and you can walk around on foot. You can spin around the camera, get very close. You can even play it in the first-person mode. Look at this, like, and you have like FPS controls here. Amazing, I love this. I have to tell you some stories. I'm an old school World of Warcraft kid. Well, old school. I started playing with Burning Crusade back then. And I started at the tail end of Wrath of the Lich King. I stopped playing around then. And ever since then, I went to offline RPGs, but I often have that craving of just doing mindless side quests. And not thinking about what I'm doing, just hanging out in a world and having seamlessly endless options when it comes to character customization and beating bosses, going through little dungeons. And Xenoblade Chronicles, which is called an offline MMO by many people, is the only game I've found so far that 100% delivers on that. If you're an old MMORPG guy, you know, playing things like, I mean, for me it was World of Warcraft, but I'm sure like if you played stuff like Lord of the Rings Online, EverQuest, RuneScape probably. I've never played that. Ultima Online, and you just want to do these mindless side quests. This is the game for you. 130 hours of mindless side questing. There's a story to it. Oh, let's look at this gigantic enemy. I want to kill him. Can I reach him by foot? Actually, I may just be insane enough to do it while standing in the lava. I should have buffed up before coming in here. Let me quickly heal my health back up. When you just don't do anything, your health regenerates. It's like ease when it comes to that. I am going to buff up. Come on. And then I'm going to run into the lava. That seems like the most sensible solution here. So, come on. Kill that guy. Bam. Death, death, death. So, the only thing this is missing is proper dungeons. A lot of this stuff is housed in the overworld. So you're running around in the open world doing side quests. There are some dungeons, I would call them, that you can get into. However, they're not really worth talking about. The whole focus is on the overworld. Can I use my evade to not get fire damage on here? Let's give it a try. No, that's not working. Okay. Sad, sad, sad. Okay, let's get into the Skell and kill him that way. There are some enemies like in terrain like this that burns you, or that are flying around where you need the Skell to damage them, or simply just to reach them. Which is the main reason I could not beat that super boss I was talking about earlier. So getting back to the topic, offline MMO, this is it. A lot of people have claimed it, including the first Xenoblade was often called an offline MMO, and I disagree with that. It's like for offline RPG players who have never played an MMO maybe, but for people who have actually dabbled in the world of massively multiplayer online RPGs, that just wasn't it. It's a completely different beast. And, Final Fantasy XII was another one that was often claimed to be an offline MMO. And it just didn't hit the spot. However, this one, you're just flying around in the world, especially once you get the Skell. I must say, like, for the first 40, 50 hours until you reach level 30, you're on foot. You don't have a Skell. Skell is the name for these gigantic robots. In Japan, I think they're called dolls. And they obviously changed that to a less stupid name over here in the West. You run around on foot and the world just feels gigantic, and it takes forever to get somewhere. It's awesome. It's like a true MMO feeling. And once you reach the, I wouldn't call it end game, like the last third of the game or so. You unlock the Skell that you can drive around in, like a car here that you can jump around in. And then you unlock the flying mode of the Skell, and that's where the world opens up. You can reach the flying islands, you can reach the top of every mountain in the game. It's awesome. I would recommend sticking with it until then. It takes 40, 50 hours to get to that, but as you see, you have another 100 hours ahead of you that you can fly around in your Skell. It's really awesome. Let's check out another area. I'm not really doing anything in this video, I just want to show you the game, a bit of gameplay, a few fights. Because I did everything in the game before I finished the game. In the post-game there is this like new area of a floating continent, basically, like little floating islands. And I just ran through it and I didn't even aggro the enemies in there. I just simply walked through, didn't have to fight. Like most of the enemies, some of them still aggro you even though you're too high of a level. But I was just painfully over-leveled for the last part of the game. And if you're really doing the side quests, if you're doing like the equipment and enchantments that you can do and doing some of the grinding, You will be over leveled, but it will be fun as hell. Just like one-hitting gigantic enemies, killing the final boss in 10 seconds. That is where the fun is at for me. However, I would wish for more dungeons, that areas you can walk around in. One we can check out over here. Let's see, can we do it? Yeah, here, over here. This is a proper dungeon you can go into. And this is something I would have loved to see. I talked about grinding for equipment earlier, and a lot of people compared it when it came out to things like Monster Hunter. You know, you're hunting monsters, you're hunting enemies, collecting resources in order to improve your equipment, and that's the whole gameplay thing. It's not really like that. And the biggest problem is the online play. Like, there is no proper online mode. You can go online and do missions. You're probably going to do them alone. Like the online missions, you're going to do them alone. Because nobody in your online mode, I actually bought online again, just to show you. Let's connect to a server. What the game does, that there's no matchmaking, there's no group system. You can play with friends. That's actually recommended. If you're like part of a Discord server, you have friends to play with. You do that, you create like a private squad. Or usually when you're just playing around, you do the quick assignment. Now we are connecting to a server and we are getting put into a lobby, basically. This is just, I think, like 12 people or so, like basically on the same server. And we can take missions on together. However, there's no communication, nobody talks to each other. So you are going to do all the online missions alone, which is totally possible, not a problem at all. The difficulty scales with your character level and so on, or you scale with the enemy levels. Actually, if it's level 50 mission, you scale down to level 50. Levels don't really matter much in the game. It's more about equipment and stats. So the level actually only affects your HP and MP, I think. Or like TP, HP and TP. And I think that's it. It doesn't actually improve your strength or anything. That is all equipment based. So there are people who are beating the super bosses on level 3 and so on. And that's only possible because there's a ticket system. When you do these online missions, you earn tickets. And then the tickets you can use to buy pretty much any material in this online section. This is exclusive to the online connectivity. If you're a purely offline player, you play this after the fact, once all the servers have shut down, like Xenoblade on the Wii U, you're basically shit out of luck because some of these materials are a pain in the ass to grind. Me being an offline player here, even though I want the feeling of an MMO, I want to do it myself. I tried to farm some of the materials and I did some. However, the later ones, they take a lot of time because you have to farm for the lesser grade items and then upgrade your equipment, go to the next one. Where when you have the online function, you can simply buy the better material and grind missions for tickets instead. And that ruins the entire thing a little bit. I'm happy that they put this here because it made me, save some time. I would have spent like 200 hours in the game if I had not been able to buy them in the store here. But you can still do, it costs like 30 tickets. As you can see, I have 5,000 up here. So let's buy this one. Trade done. All right. So now I have the material that I'm collecting for. I need muscled whatever, 24 of them. I could just buy 24 of them right away and be done with the mission. Some of the side missions are actually finished that way because sometimes you have to go for like very low drop rate item that an enemy drops. And instead of farming for 2 hours, I simply buy them for tickets. Ruins the entire feeling a little bit, but still, saving time sometimes is pretty nice. But playing this made me realize I want a proper online Xenoblade game. Something like Phantasy Star Online is probably the closest we are getting to that. but I want a proper online Xenoblade game. I know they can do it, and I'm pretty sure they want to do it. I'm just not sure, if the fan base will be on board with it, because Xenoblade X is often seen as the black sheep in this series by the fans, of being so different to the main series that it's not actually part of the series. People often see it as a more spiritual sequel to Xenogears, like in theme and with the Skells, the flying robots, and so on, instead of an actual part of the Xenoblade Chronicles series. But I want that online game. I'm not an online gamer, but if they announce, and I'm often very pessimistic when a game that I would have wanted to play offline is actually just an online game. But I would be all on board for that. Like, we're living in the world of service games. Like, everyone wants to do games as a service. Nintendo is moving more and more into soulless, evil corporation. Give us a Xenoblade game as a service, man. Xenoblade Chronicles X2 as a service, like proper online, going through dungeons like this together. Making it proper hard so I cannot one-shot all the enemies, work on the balancing to make it a proper online experience. That would be so awesome. Because honestly, the story in this game, you're playing this for the gameplay. You're playing this because you love doing mindless side missions. You're playing this because you love the small things in the game, the gameplay, the leveling up, the crafting. You're not playing this for the story. The story is rather interesting once you get into it. However, because of the whole gameplay concept of being an offline MMO, it's very stretched out. Often you do a mission and then it tells you, okay, to take on the next story mission, you have to be level 50. Grinding to level 50 will take you 10 or 15 hours. And if you just want to see the story continue, sometimes it was very annoying. And I didn't like that too much. However, in the end of the game, like, I was high level enough to... Oh, what do we do? Inventory is full? Holy fuck, I didn't know that can be. Like, I didn't know you can have a full inventory. That just happened. I learned something. Come on. Let's see. Yeah, I want to... No, I don't want to sell that. Like, what do I do? What do I sell? So, I want something... I don't even want that item, man. Okay, I don't want that. I didn't know you can fill your inventory. Apparently, I just filled my inventory in the game. I didn't know that was a thing. So after hours of grinding materials, I never sold anything. I sold very few things. And now inventory is full. Oh, these are like the elite enemies. The tyrants, as they're called. They're often a bit stronger than the regular enemies. Not so much for me. As you can see, basically killing them in a few seconds. Bam, bam, bam. And I'm not even that over leveled. You can go insane in this game. They're actually above the ceiling. We have to go there. You can level up insanely in this game and hit the damage cap. So if you're into that, if you're someone who played Final Fantasy X or something a lot, where you can level up to insanity, this is probably the game for you. Come on, kill that guy. Where is he? There he is. Kill, kill, kill. So where's the next one? Oh, we're just pulling all the enemies over here. Oh, it's like a security system, I think. So let's kill him. There's some strategy to this. Like, I'm putting up an aura which activates like higher damage. And then I have a skill active that heightens, or like it raises my damage when an aura is active. So I'm like quadrupling my damage once an aura is active. And that's pretty damn awesome. You can have like, it's not too deep. Where are the enemies coming from? It's not too deep, but you can have some strategy in there. Okay, I don't want any of that. Sell all. Amazing. Great. So, that's what it is. The music in this game, as you have heard here, it goes from absolutely fantastic to lovingly cheesy. You probably know that track like from the city going in like a rap song. It's amazing. It's very fitting. I love it. Some small gripes. I mean, it's not a perfect game, but man, I have not had this much fun in a game probably since Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Well, I played like 120 hours to beat all the super bosses. But this one is more of the MMO charm. And Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I didn't like the actual like gameplay, like the questing in it too much. I wasn't a fan of that. However, the combat system was a lot of fun. And this one, completely different story. You know, the questing is what it's all about for me. Yeah, have you played Xenoblade Chronicles X or Xenoblade Chronicles Cross, I think as it's officially called, at least in Japan? Yeah, tell me your stories. I will now be shutting this game down, take it out of my Switch, and maybe come back to it at one point to beat all the super bosses. That's actually in the cards. That's never the case for me, but man. Yeah, have you played it? Do you want to play it? I hope you have a fantastic day. Check out this game. It's amazing. It's my game of the year 2014, 2025, and 2026. 3 releases of this game. Amazing. 3 game of the years. See you next time.